Hi, everybody. Okay, I'm going to invite Deedee Wills. Get in here. Hopefully I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Oh, that was a lot of forehead. That was a lot of forehead for me.
Okay, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Is there echoes? Are there echoes?
A little bit. Let me see. I think I have a little, since we're doing two things, maybe I'll just put you over here too, because I have a little stand I can put you in.
I turned down the volume on one of my devices and then
Okay. Good plan.
just so it doesn't echo. Can you see my head in Instagram?
I can see, can I see your head?
Like, can you see me okay in Instagram? Or do
Yeah.
I need to go
I mean, I can see you from like here down.
Okay, let me move this up. Hey everybody,
Backing up a little bit because y'all, I look a little bit rough.
You had a fun day though. You got a good excuse. So
I did have a fun day.
Colorado, and
yeah.
They just had fresh snow, and she has been skiing all day, which is like
went up. So I have like helmet head because you wear a helmet the whole time. So I actually think I even have like indentations from wearing my helmet. But yeah. So
you're beautiful. I look like you had a fun day. You worked so hard. So I'm glad that you got some time to do that. So
thank you.
Good. Yeah.
Thank you.
Well,
I take weekends during the weekday, and then during the weekends I work. So
you work like 14-hour days.
Oh, good.
I know because I talked to you.
Battery is dying.
Hopefully we can hear each other okay. Oh my goodness. Are you still echoing? All right, well, I'm gonna do a little introduction here.
Not really.
Are you still
okay,
echoing?
I'm plugging you in because battery is tired.
Okay,
go ahead.
Well, thank you for joining. We are excited you're here. We're on Facebook, YouTube, and on Instagram. Tonight we're going to be talking about boom cards. Type in the chat if you use boom cards in your classroom. Whether you're distance teaching, whether you're hybrid, or whether you are back to school in session, you can use boom cards. I'm here with my partner in crime, Deedee Wills. Deedee and I have a membership for the Clever School Teacher and the kindergarten and first grade membership that she and I do together. I've got a cool little graphic.
We started that like a year and a half ago.
Yeah, isn't that crazy? Yeah. Time just like
it is crazy.
I can't believe it. We're
doing your fancy graphics. You can't see them on Instagram, but over on the other channel, she's got these like super fancy graphics.
I know. If you're on Instagram, go to either the Primary Collaborative Facebook group or Kindergarten Classroom on YouTube because you're gonna see you're gonna miss out on all the cool stuff. But anyway, so the Clever School Teacher is our baby, our membership, and we've got such a wonderful group of kinder, first grade educators, teachers, homeschooling parents, all the things. We've got a private Facebook group that we go live in, and there's a freebie vault. There are a ton of resources that we post every month. It's like Christmas every month. And so Deedee and I, go ahead.
No, I'm agreeing with everything you said. Yeah. Yes.
So I was going to say, so Deedee and I work together on that, and then we've worked together on other projects and stuff, but she is the author behind, is it Mrs. Wills Kindergarten?
Yeah.
On the web, and you can find her if you just type in Deedee Wills in Google, she'll pop up. But she is amazing. She has years and years and years of experience in the classroom. She's done professional development. I met her in real life remember when we met in real life at the SDE conference, which is so funny because we've we like so long. Yeah, worked together for so long, and then like 3 years later, we eventually see each other real life. And she is, you guys, you know how like some people you see on a camera and you think, oh my gosh, you're so beautiful, but then when you see somebody in real life, you're like, how'd that happen? Like, whatever filter she was using on the camera, I need to use. No, like she's literally that gorgeous in real life, you guys. So like literally beautiful person. I was sitting there taking off my socks because I still have my ski sweater. I had my ski pants on and I had to take them off,
But I have leggings on, so I'm not standing here without pants. But anyhow, so if you saw what I was doing, I was like, oh, I'm getting hot, so I had to take those off. But
I need to
anyhow, it's not that kind of snow.
We just had snow, so I need to get some snow gear up in Tahoe. So, yes.
So fun. So fun. You know, we don't, Mark, my husband and I, we pretty much stay around the house, but we've been trying to, I've been really guilty. And I know, Elizabeth, you've been really working on this also, but, I'm really guilty. I could work literally 7 days a week.
Yeah.
And, 10 or 12 hours. The problem is when it's your hobby is also your job. You can do it for, all the time. And consequently, what happens is that you don't have much of a personal life. So one day a week, we try to take off and do something that is not like makes it impossible for me to work. And so this has been something we're doing in the wintertime.
Yeah.
In the summertime, we go hiking. And then in the wintertime, we're trying to get a ski day in each week is what I'm trying to say.
That's so good. As I was just listening to a podcast today. It was educational podcast, and the interviewer was interviewing an administrator and was kind of broaching the topic of how do you make sure that the teachers are meeting the standards, with COVID and all of that. And the administrator's response was so surprising to me, but I thought it was so good. And her response was, before I harp on the teacher for not meeting the standards or for having their students not meet the standards, I always ask the teacher how they are doing. And, you can't pour from an empty cup. So I know how hard you work. I know how hard the teachers work that are watching this. And it's so important that you do a little check-in with yourself and ask yourself, people only have so much battery charge. My friend Julie Adams says that all the time. And so it's important that you are full so that you can come to the table ready to rock and roll. So I'm glad that you got away. I know how hard you work.
Thank you. Well, and everybody who's listening, I know that you also are probably having a year like no other one, and you're probably working harder than you ever thought you possibly could. So see if you can also do something. I know in the kindergarten group, we check in and say, what have you done from time to time? What have you done to kind of fill your cup? So if you guys are listening, what is it that you do so that you just carve out that time that's just for you? So if you want to comment with that, I would love to have. I know some people do yoga, some people go for walks, some people, listen to a podcast or read a book. All of those things, what fills my cup might not be the same as somebody else's, but it is really important that we take that time to take care of ourselves.
Yes. So good. So good. And there's no shame or guilt. I feel like sometimes people feel bad saying oh, I got my nails done or whatever. I took some time. I took half of the day off on Saturday and watched Netflix. Like what you're saying, filling your cup is important and there's no shame in that. And so I think that's really good. Oh, we've got comments coming in. Shopping.
Shopping. I'm like, yep, like that. Trashy reality TV. Love it. Love it. Well, and as you say, there's no shame, as I was saying, when we were coming down the mountain, I mean, I knew I was going to be here in time because we're not that far away, but when we were coming down, I was like, gosh, I probably should, I was thinking I probably should not look like I've been out skiing all day. Because I know that, on Wednesday, everybody else is in a classroom. Right.
Yeah.
And so, I feel there's a little bit of kind of almost wanting to hide that, which is shouldn't, and why is it that I don't know if it's just I don't know if it's a woman thing or if it's a teacher thing, but almost like if you're not working every day, 7 days a week, then you're not
valuable
for others all the time. Right. Yeah. So I don't know if what that is. It might just be a Deedee Wills thing.
Yeah, no, that's so good. And I think in this profession, there are so many empaths in this profession. And I think that's probably a trait that's really easily, I was just talking to Angie about this last night on last night's live stream, where teachers are givers and teachers want to fix and teachers have they just give. And that's the role that you play in the classroom. It's the role that you play when you leave the classroom and so many helpers. And so, I can totally see how that would be a trait for sure. I struggle with that too. I know
you do. So. Yeah. you're working till 11 o'clock at night, and then the next day you had to be in the classroom.
Yeah.
And I know that there's a lot of people who are listening who do the same thing.
Yeah. So take care of yourself out there, guys. You deserve it, and your students are better for it when you're your best version of yourself.
Right.
Well,
right.
Okay. Well, we're going to talk about boom cards in the classroom. Who wants to go first? Do you want to go first? Do you want me to go first? What are your thoughts?
Well, I talked a little bit on a Facebook Live a few weeks ago in our Clever School Teacher group about boom cards and how they've been around for a while, but I really didn't, grasp them or embrace them, I guess is probably the better word, until you started working with me on them. There's a couple different platforms that I'm completely enamored with. Like I love, as you know, I love Seesaw. I love all the tools that Seesaw has. But there are different tools that Boom has. So people say, well, are they kind of the same? They kind of are the same in that you can have, center activities. But with Boom cards, they're self-correcting, which makes it really, really nice. So if a student gets it wrong, then they get immediate feedback that their answer was incorrect. And then if y'all have that student who will, have a puzzle piece and try to put it everywhere just to see what will fit, not even thinking about what they're doing, right? We've all had those students.
Uh-huh.
So, but with Boom, you can get a report back that will show you, how many attempts they had, what the percentage of first correct is. And so that makes it really a really nice feature. Because you really can it's almost like you're over their shoulder while they're doing that activity. So you really do get some great feedback. The other thing I really like is that each slide in the deck is something that you can narrate. You can do the same thing in Seesaw, but you can narrate each deck. So if there's a picture or a slide on the deck, there's a picture. Sometimes you'll have a piece of clip art that's supposed to be the word jog, right? But the students say run or hop, or because the picture may not be really clear, might be a kind of a obscure word. So you can create, whoever creates the deck can add an audio in there, so it prompts the student. So we're not guessing anymore. Is that hop or jump or what is that word? Yeah. And so I really love that as well.
Yeah, that's so good. I think it really appeals to all the learning modalities because there's the visual. I was with my friend the other day, and his daughter was using the Boom cards on my iPad, and so there's that touch as well. She was dragging and dropping.
Right.
That feedback is so good as well. It's just that instant feedback. I honestly haven't looked at the back end of the reporting. I'm a little bit embarrassed to say that, but I didn't even know that those were features on the back end. That's really neat. So it provides that assessment.
Right. Because I do think that one of the things that, we always worry about is that students know how to game the system, right? I mean, there's some of us are better at it than others, right? So in this way that, there's some accountability piece. And what a shift that's been for classrooms. If we think back, if I think back to 5 or 6 years ago, how did I know if my students responded or grasped that task? I would be looking at a response activity. But even then, I wasn't always sure, did my student do that or did their partner help? That was always sort of a question. And then this is a way that you really can drill down and find specifically what they've been able to master. Right?
Yeah. And then there's almost like a reteaching that kind of happens too, with the audio directions. If the audio directions are kind of explaining and there's, seeing that example, I think that's really good. I like that you can assign specific decks to students. So if you have students who struggle with certain skills or standards, you can push that to them, which is huge. And the student who, they could be sitting right next to each other, not even knowing that, it's all calculated. You're you don't even know that you're working on a specific skill that you need to work on, or you're behind, or you're ahead. And so you can
that differentiation that you can do that's kind of covert. I always worry about a student getting that special activity. And even though you call it all these different things, it clearly does look different, right? And so this is one that, although it might look different, it doesn't mean, it just means, hey, I'm working on this one, you're working on that one. It's not overtly simpler or harder or anything like that. It's just it's different. So I like it. It's not color coded or anything like that. So it makes it really kind of nice.
I love that. Well, let's do this. Let's take a quick commercial break. When we come back, Deedee, why don't you pull up and share your screen with your boom card? Because for people who don't know what boom cards are, like we can say deck. Is that possible for you?
Yeah, I'm just thinking, I'm just not sure how good it's going to be, but yes, I have, yeah, let's do that commercial thing.
Okay.
And then, there we go.
All right.
Welcome. The CST membership is a monthly subscription that provides you with monthly curated kindergarten and first grade resources along with professional development. You'll have early access to resources before they're made available to others. Your $19.95 a month subscription grants you access to kindergarten and first grade classroom resources valued at over $50. These will be resources that have never been published. This includes reading, writing, math, and center activities. Additionally, you'll have access to a growing freebie vault and a collection of professional development videos. Sign up to save energy, improve your teaching practices, and save valuable planning time.
All right, and we're back. Deedee's gonna hop in here. So Deedee, do I will share your screen?
I think you just pop that into view. Yeah,
okay.
there it is.
I'm gonna hide.
Okay. And I don't know, hopefully y'all can still hear me in, there we go. And you can still hear me and see, but what's kind of nice, the boom card's like, wait a minute, you're asleep. So it says count the coins and drag the number. So I'm going to go ahead and drag the number to where it goes. And then I can check it. And then it goes, now I have my sound turned down on my computer because we were getting some echo, but this right here is that flashing green is the audio. So it's telling the student specifically what to do. So I can go ahead and I can drag again. And then I can check it. So, you know, there's lots and lots of slides on here. I have, if I look at the top in my preview, I have 19 more to go. So there's a lot of practice, which is something that I really love, is that you have a great opportunity to practice. And then Elizabeth, I don't know if I had to, do you all see me I had to count. My subitizing skills are a little bit low right now. I was like, wait, 1, 2, 3. It's been a long day. I don't know. Were we going to talk about what we were thinking about adding? We kind of were brainstorming today, and I'm not going to lie, I got kind of excited.
Yeah, I know. Me too.
So you get the idea behind this particular task. I don't need to do them all, but if for some reason I put the wrong thing in here, right? If I put the wrong thing in here, then it's going to go whoop. Yeah.
Let me hop out so that they can see what you're talking about.
Okay. So I'll go ahead and do it again. So if for some reason I had the wrong thing, it would give me that little error, and then I'd have a chance to correct it. So that's that.
So I love boom cards. I'm excited for what we've been talking about too, which is, drum roll please. So we've talked about including them in the conversation membership.
Yeah.
Do you want to share a little bit about that?
Well, one of the things we were talking about, we were a little bit, you know, when boom cards came out, if you buy them on Boom, there's a certain payment issue that you have that's different than if you get them on TPT and in a membership. So we couldn't quite figure out really how all of that would work within a membership site. But then we realized if we didn't bundle the activities and we put them individually in the membership, I think we would be fine. And then we would be able to offer boom cards in the membership. So what we were planning on doing between now and the end of the year, of the school year, I should say, is offering some free boom activities in the freebie vault, or some activities that would go into the freebie vault, or perhaps in the monthly membership. So you can see it's a fine oiled machine plan that we have here, but we're going to put a couple of boom activities in there. Somebody emailed me today and was asking me about that. I'm like, yes, I'll have some in. Those members will have some in there for you by this weekend. But then we were also thinking about what would we want to include maybe next school year, or maybe as the school year kind of winds down, maybe some things going into summer that would be great activities. And so we were thinking about doing some nonfiction kind of informational text in there, and having some close response. So, fill in the blank, some comprehension, fill in the blank kind of activities. And then we could have where they would either have a word bank and they could type the words as a response, which is a really cool boom feature that I didn't even show, but they could type it in, or they could have an image that would have a word on there that they could drag in. But we were just kind of brainstorming different types of informational text we could have. I know that there's always the big units that we do. We always have these huge thematic units that kindergarten, first grade teachers have. And, we study certain animals every single year. But I thought, wouldn't it be kind of cool to study an animal that maybe was a little more obscure, like learning about sloths, which I think are just amazing animals anyhow, right? So maybe we could have an information about sloth. And we would want to have it so that it's transferable to standards, right? But we could always go back to reading comprehension as well. Yes. So we could do the standard of science about animal needs or something along those lines, right? But then we could always come back to, that reading standard that we're beginning with, reading and writing standard. So we would have both of those things kind of worked out. Yeah. So there would be like pages of information that students could, my mind is just going.
Yeah, same.
Right? Or like in this sentence, identify all the words that, the word the, and they could drag something over the top of those as well. So we'd have lots of different ELA skills in there, but at the same time, and this all comes back to the Facebook Live that I did 2 weeks ago when somebody said, we need more informational text. We need more informational nonfiction things. So that was something I thought would be super fun.
Yeah.
So we could do it on science subjects. And then we could also do it though on like biographies. So I've been shopping. Hold on, I'll show you my book that I got.
Also, if you have any suggestions, type in the chat of things that you would love to see in the membership for boom cards or anything like that. We're always open for suggestions. Yeah.
So I know a lot of people know this book. It's one that my light is causing a major glare, but it says, have you thanked an inventor today? And it's by Patrice McLaurin, illustrated by Diane Wang. And basically they're just little inventions that maybe not everybody knew where they came from. And I think they're pretty awesome. So like one of them is by Frederick Jones, and he invented the air conditioner. Like how, that would be great, right?
Yeah.
P. Downing invented the mailbox. Most people know George Washington Carver and peanuts, right? And peanut butters. But George Crumb, the potato chip. He's actually my hero.
I love that.
But there are some inventions that have come out that are maybe not the huge, cotton gin invention, right? Yeah. That everybody studied year after year. Why don't we look at some of these other inventors who have really, I'm not kidding, potato chips have changed my life. So why don't we study the person who invented those? But there are some, there's some obscure biographies that are fascinating, that would be really good for us to highlight also.
Yes, I love it. I love it.
Good.
There's so many different things we can do with Boom, and I love those ideas. I think that would add a lot. I think you've said it all. I think everything that you said, I'm just like, amen, amen, amen. I feel like we went over what Boom cards offer.
Yeah.
I love how when you were suggesting about the informational text or even the book that you just suggested, I just heard so many different standards being covered in those activities. It's not just like a single standard. So that's great. It's really cross-curricular in that sense. I'm excited. I'm really excited.
I am too. You know, one of the things is that if you pick up a unit on, you know, there's some really, really great science units out there that you can get, and social studies units you can find out there that people have really done their homework on, right? And if you have one really good weather unit, you don't really need another one. You know what I mean? You have one that really covers everything that you need. You don't really need another one. But there's so much more out there that we could be talking about, again, in the context of reading comprehension. You could be kind of expanding worlds a little bit while doing some reading as well. Yeah,
I love it. I love it.
Good.
All right. That's the plan. So we're going to add some freebies.
Yes, free freebies.
Free freebies to our growing freebie vault. So if you're not familiar with that, we have a vault of freebies within the Clever School Teacher membership. So if you're a member, you get access to that vault along with professional development videos like this.
Yeah.
We've got Deedee has shared so many wonderful tips about writing and reading and all the things. We've had some really awesome special guests in the group as well. And so anyways, if you are a member, you get access to all of that. And
yes. Yeah. And I was going to say something else. I guess maybe the suggestions, both Elizabeth and I are here. We both feel like it's our job, our calling. That sounds kind of corny, but the reason why we do what we do is because we're here to help teachers. And so if you're hungry for something and we're not serving it, let us know what you're hungry for, so that we can make what it is that you're looking for. Sometimes we have to think, okay, how will that look for us? It takes a little. Sometimes I say I'm more like a crock pot than a microwave. I need a little more time to think about how I would actually come across doing that. But those suggestions, I do hang on to those and I do think about those.
And I mean, we really did that when we started this year's membership too. Because with all of we kind of pivoted and are now offering, resources that can be used in the classroom, hybrid or distance teaching. So we've got versions that are printable or digital, or a mix of both. So we really do want to be a resource to you, and your voice matters. Like, your voice matters in the community, and we really appreciate. I remember I was talking to somebody this week about teachers pay teachers and just being a teachers pay teacher seller and all of that. And I was like, I can't tell you how, like, being in the classroom, how many products actually have a student's name attached to it. Like, when I was in the classroom, I've got one product that my friend who lives just down the street, her son David, was at the table and playing with little mini erasers from Target. And he was like hopping and skipping over. And I was like, I need to make a game for that, because he's obsessed with these mini erasers, right? He loves them. They're really cool. And so I did. So I made a mini erasers mat for him and for the class, and they loved it. It was like a 2 to 3 or 4 partner game. But it's those kinds of little like aha moments as a teacher where you're like, oh, that could be a game, or that could be an activity, or I need this to fill. There's a need, and I need a resource that fills this in a unique way. And so Deedee and I, that's really what we're here for. We want to help give you the resources that you need to make your job easier, but then also help your students and you be successful. So
yeah. So just say we know what you're struggling right now is distance learning, and we're not sure how to solve that problem. But we do hope to make it easier. So, and you think, if I could just have, and I remember I would be teaching, and my desk would be right here, and I'd have my students here, but I had my computer behind me, phone, all that stuff. And all of a sudden I'd be talking to somebody and I'd be realizing this is what this child needs, right? This is, and I turn around and then I would come back and can you teach this? And then I would go home and try to make something for that, because that is really, when you're in it, you're experiencing right there what you need. So
that's so good. That's so good. Oh my goodness. Deedee, I could sit and talk with you all night. I feel like we're kindred spirits. I really do. And I feel like you have such a heart for educators and such a heart for students. And I feel so lucky to know you and be a part of this community, and everybody watching. Same thing. Like, the teaching community has been so uplifting and empowering. And the stories that I hear and people who reach out, you guys are rock stars. And I know if Deedee and I could do one thing, it's just to empower you to keep doing. You're doing a great job. Make sure you're filling your cup, taking care of yourself, and reach out. Reach out if you need help. I know the Primary Collaborative is a wonderful Facebook group to do that, interactive. I love popping in there and just reading through posts and comments. I feel like you do such a good job taking care of your people there. And so anyways,
well, they're pretty good to me too. I'm pretty lucky to be, part of that community, and have made a little platform for them to get together, because, there's so many voices, and there's so many problems that classrooms have that are not always unique. Like, if I'm experiencing it here in Colorado, they're experiencing it also, in Louisiana, right? They have it. It's the same. You see the same student. They might look different, but the same issue is showing up. And, my suggestion for a solution might be different than somebody else's. But when I go through and I read that thread, there are so many great ideas that are actionable. It's almost like somebody could write a book just based on that, on those responses. So there's always going to be something that will resonate with someone.
That's so good. That's so good. Oh my goodness. So good.
Okay.
All right. Well, I think that's all that we had on the list for tonight. Did you want to share anything else?
Just that I normally do not wear pigtails. I'm just going to throw that out there.
You look adorable, by the way. You're adorable.
It's not my best look, but I'm super glad to be here, and love you. That's it.
We did it. All right.
We did.
Have a good night, everybody. We'll talk to you later.